Now we're going to have a look at how to tackle the unseen poem using stilts. You might be asking yourself, what are stilts? Well, stilts are the poetry keywords. And by using these key concepts, we show that we know how poetry works. The stilts are style, theme, imagery, language choice, tone, and sound effects. The first one is style, which describes the way the poem is written. And of course, there are many different ways you can write a poem. It can be modern, simple, personal, experimental, emotional, and so on. The next thing you look at is the theme or the main message of the poem. And usually the theme is better expressed as a sentence rather than just one word. The next thing you look at then is the imagery in the poem. And imagery includes any description in the poem which creates a picture in your mind. Imagery often appeals to the senses. Images in a poem can also include similes, metaphors, and of course symbols. We continue on then to look at something very important, which is the words that the poet has chosen to write his poem. Which words did he choose and in which order did he place them? The next step then is to look at something else extremely important, which is the tone of the poem. The tone is the feeling the poet has towards what they are writing about, and we see this in the choice of words. The final consideration then is any sound effects that the poet may have used. For example, assonance, which is repetition of vowel sounds, alliteration, which is repeated consonant sounds, or onomatopoeia, which is where the sound of the word used echoes what the word means. Now, to apply these stilts, we're going to look at a poem, The Eagle by Lord Tennyson. He clasps the crag with crooked hands, close to the sun in lonely lands. Ringed with the azure world he stands. The wrinkled sea beneath him crawls. He watches from his mountain walls. Then, like a thunderbolt, he falls. So we're just going to apply our 6 stilts now to this poem. So we can see straight away that the style of the poem is simple, dramatic, and descriptive. The theme, again using a sentence rather than a word, is the majesty and the power of nature as seen in this bird. The imagery is powerful and evocative. For example, the image of the bird as a thunderbolt. The choice of language, for example, the repetition of he, him, and his, reinforces the total dominance of the eagle in his setting. The tone of the poet is one of awe and wonder. Finally, the alliteration is used to create some interesting sound effects. For example, when the bird clasps the crag with crooked hands, the hard C sound adds force to the action. So there you see how using the poetry keywords can really demonstrate your understanding of how poetry works.